Since we just talked about the short prior to the movie Encanto, the next logical movie is, of course, the movie Encanto. I am really excited to talk to you about this movie. It is so inspirational and so cute. The whole story is about the family madrigal, their journey to find their new home. Along the way on this journey, their dear abuelo is lost, but their abuela is the heart of this home and the heart of this family. And for those that aren't familiar, abuelo, I believe, means grandfather, and abuela means grandmother. And her love for this family helped bring together the miracle of this candle. And this candle has a flame that could never go out. There's just something to this. The magic of this candle has built this entire home around them, and this entire home is magical. And as time goes on, each child is blessed with their own gift. Now, these gifts have something really special if you're paying attention. Every one of the Madrigal family that has received a gift, the gift ties to another Disney movie if you're paying attention. It doesn't do so in a way that will point itself out, but if you pay attention to the details, you will catch a lot of different references and Easter eggs in this one. Now, there is one member of the Madrigal family that has never gotten her gift, Mirabel. Mirabel feels really left out. The time came for her to receive her powers and nothing happened, leaving her not only wondering how she fits in with the family, but also creating an awkwardness because the family was not sure how to react to her anymore. Everybody with their powers helps not only the people within their home, but they help the entire community. And Mirabel would do anything possible that she was able to. It just never seemed to be enough, and it seemed that she just didn't fit. One of the things it touches on in this movie is that sometimes the family weirdos get a bad rap, and that's not true just here in this story, but it's true in real life as well, that if you don't necessarily fit into the cookie cutter that is life, it kind of puts you in a situation where you just don't fit in at all. Sometimes as hard as it is, it's for the best, at least for the time being. But something starts to happen as Casa Madrigal begins to suffer because there's something happening to the flame and to the candle. The house it feels like it's dying. The story is presented in such a way that you're just drawn into the story as it's told. It is so beautifully done, but things end up kind of coming full circle. As it's a Disney movie, you know it's going to have a happy ending. But how they come around to that happy ending may be a surprise. I did go ahead and give Encanto a 6.5 out of 10 on the deputy scale. It is so beautifully done, but at the same time, it touches on some ideas that may not be for all audiences. I would definitely recommend this. I wouldn't necessarily say for all ages, but for most. This story has a powerful message that you are more than just your gift. And that doesn't apply just to the magical gifts that the movie is referring to, because we are all gifted in different ways, and we just have to choose how we're going to use those gifts. There is something special here. I think this will truly be a classic for many years to come. Also, if you were a fan of the movie Coco, you will definitely be a fan of this. And it takes a lot for me to really change a score and to really change what I initially thought about the movie. But there is one movie here that I definitely want to touch on that I completely actually gave it a different score than the one I was going to start with. I had given Encanto just a 6.75 back in November. And honestly, I've watched the movie a few times since then, and there's just something about it. So on Encanto, I'm actually going to be adjusting my score, and I'm going to have to adjust it on MovieDeputy.com as well. But we're going to go from a 6.75 to a 7.75. Now, you may be wondering why I did that, and I'm going to kind of explain that a little bit. And I know we weren't planning on talking about Encanto today, but I really want to touch on it. There was a movie called Inside Out that Disney Pixar released a few years back. And it was a movie dealing all with emotions and how to deal with those emotions and how to process those emotions in a healthy way. What a lot of people don't realize is basically Encanto is doing the same thing. Each of the characters in Encanto represents somebody in the whole family dynamic. And like I said, you've really you don't necessarily pick it up the first couple times you watch it, but the more you watch it, the more you see it play out. You see The person who almost has to be perfect at everything to even fit in. The person who carries the weight of everybody else's stuff on their shoulders. The person who's observant and isn't afraid to call people out on stuff, but then they're the outcast of the family. And then you've got the person who's just trying hard to fit in with everybody else that maybe doesn't have something that sets them apart. And then you have the matriarch or patriarch of the family who is just trying to hold it all together. And then you watch how all of that plays out, and there's so much more to it than that. But like I said, when I first watched this, I didn't necessarily pick up on that, but after I've rewatched it over and over again, it is quickly becoming a favorite of mine for a lot of different reasons. So if that is one that you have not checked out yet, it is on Disney Plus, and it is, I think it's available on a lot of the other platforms too, available to rent or buy. But it is just an absolute treasure of a movie. Like I said, if you haven't checked it out yet, this is one you might want to check out. Another thing I want to add, if you've been paying attention, is if you had seen Luca, which Luca came out earlier in 2021, and one of the big things in Luca was Silenzio Bruno. And one of the biggest things in Encanto is the whole, I'm sure you've heard the song by now, is we don't talk about Bruno. And so for those that haven't quite picked up on that, that's just kind of a little Easter egg that I definitely had to touch on.